Now what I've been doing with the raspberries is this. Each time that I've had a handful of raspberries, what I've been doing is picking them and then I've been storing them in the freezer, as you can see here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to defrost all of these and then I'm going to make some raspberry jam. And that's really exciting. So let's get into that. What we've got here are all of the raspberries, as you can see. They have now pretty much defrosted, which is good. That just speeds up the cooking time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bung them all into this pan here, just like so. The little white bits, I know they probably look a little bit mouldy, but they're not mouldy. That is just where I've picked them off, and they've still got the green bits. I froze them immediately, so it looks like that they are going mouldy, but they're not. It's just the little ripe bits. Right, so that's pretty much all of the raspberries in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on some heat. I'm going to add in some lemon by squeezing this cut lemon that I've already put in. I'm going to put that in there and then put it on boil. Once it's on boil, what it's going to do is going to thicken it up. And what it's going to do then is I'm going to let it simmer away. And what I'm going to do is add sugar. So I'm going to add some sugar that already has some pectin in it. Basically, that just makes it stickier, makes it thicken up, and all you've got to do is boil it in the pan. And once it's done that, I'm going to do a little test where you put it on a plate, a cold plate, and then you push it to see if it actually moves like jelly. And that's when you know it's done. And then it's ready to jar. Simple, right? Let's see how easy it is. I'm going to add that there. You might have noticed that the pan is actually bent. What it did was that it actually fell onto the floor off of the drainer, unfortunately, which is why it's bent. But still good to go. We just haven't bothered replacing them. So all I'm doing, as you can see, is a very messy getting the liquid out of the lemon and adding the lemon juice in there whilst the heat is starting to warm up the pan. Just like that. Beautifully done. Now if you have your own little, what's it called? A little lemon squeezer, that would be recommended because I'm making a mess, but also it's good for cleaning lemon juice, so I'm not that bothered. Right, I'm going to let that simmer and do its thing. I don't know if you can see that now, but it's now starting to thicken. Let's get the camera in there without burning the camera. Oh yeah, beautiful. A little stir, just like that, and you can see the amount of juice that's come off of it, look. So it's already starting to decompose and break up, which is nice. Now I haven't cut any of the raspberries. I did with the strawberries when I made strawberry jam. I think I made a YouTube short out of that, so you can go check that out on the channel. But what I'm doing here is I'm literally just boiling it away as it is, because the raspberries are pretty small already, so I don't think it's actually needed. So I'm just going to get the sugar out of the cupboard. And here it is. This is the sugar. This is jam sugar, and it says on the back here somewhere, where does it say? It does say on here that it has the pectin already added in here. So it's pretty much ready to go, as it were. Now, when I watched the recipe to how to make this, it's Mary Berry. It's a Mary Berry recipe. But it's really simple to follow, and all she says is to add in the sugar once this has started boiling. She did say a measurement, but I don't think I need it because I didn't measure how much fruit I actually had, so I'm hoping that should be enough. But she said add in 1 kilogram of sugar. Now that sounds like a lot of sugar. But because I'm using a little bit of fruit, I'm just adding a little bit of sugar. I know it looked like a lot, but like I said, 1 kilogram. She poured in a whole tub, and it seemed mad. Anyway, I'm going to let this simmer for another few minutes and wait for it to thicken up before we do the test. What I'm going to do now is just get out a plate ready to put a dollop of the jam onto here. Because the plate is already cold, it's going to help basically cool down the blob of jam, and then we can do the test. Little dollop onto there. Keep the rest on boil whilst that bit cools down. I'm going to pop this in the fridge. All that needs is 2 minutes inside the fridge, and what it's going to do is basically cool it down, and then we can test if the gelatine has worked inside of the, what's it called? The pectin. I keep forgetting the name of it. And basically it will thicken it up and it will turn it into a jam, a set jam. And that's what we're waiting for. While we wait for that, jar me. Thanks. Now we take this lid off. Oh, and we've got a seal on there that sits in there. And I have already cleaned this, I've sterilised it, and this is now ready to go. This is now ready. This has been in there for about 2 minutes, and basically I'm just going to see if we can get it on camera, but this is going to ripple up. Yeah, you see that? You see how it's actually moving upwards like that? That is apparently now ready to go. Oh my goodness, that tastes delicious. What Mary Berry has told me to do, I'm saying it like she's on the end of the phone, I'm just going to give that a stir and let this cool down. You can probably see the steam coming off of it. This is a good thing because it means that it's now starting to cool. And what she's recommended is that the seeds and the chunks inside there, they need to set. So in order for that to happen, I need to let it cool down. Otherwise, she said, if you don't let it cool down properly, it means that when you fill up the jar, you'll have this much of the liquid underneath and the berries on top. She said that's good for the first person who has the jam, but then leaves the other person or other people with the jelly at the bottom of the jar. And that's not what you want really. So what we're going to do is we're going to professionally wait and do it properly. Let's not rush it. Look at that, it's not... But if you push it, you can see it's rippling. So this is pretty much ready. We're just waiting for the rest of it to do just that. Right, this is pretty much cooled down now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the jar. I'm going to give it a stir with the cold spoon. And now I'm just going to start putting it inside the jar. Oh, this is becoming a real thing now. You see, I haven't had any of the raspberries yet because I wanted to make a jar full of jam. And, well, I've done it, which is fantastic. I was really excited when I started gathering all of the raspberries, and it actually looked like a lot when I started. So now this is becoming a real thing. This is brilliant. How well is this going to go? Not as bad as I thought. I tell you what, this jar's filling up. I thought I was only going to fill the bottom of it. But we're looking at about half a jar of jam here. How amazing. Look, it's already starting to solidify. You can see it looks like jam. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to whiz around with this one and make sure that I'm scraping all of the leftovers inside of here before it thickens up. Otherwise this is going to be a nightmare to wash. Here we go. Look at that. Beautiful. I'm just going to get this last little bit. And in it goes. Look at that. That's beautiful. Amazing. And there we have it. I have now made, from the garden, this is a big step, from the garden, I have made my very own jam. There we go. Now all that's left to do is to let that cool overnight, and hopefully that will be just as good as the little strawberry jams that I created not long ago. So I didn't quite have enough for a full jar, but you can see that's done quite a lot of jam, and that is really, really exciting. I'm going to let that cool overnight and see if it solidifies as good as these ones did. Now, unfortunately, I only managed to make just 2 of these little jars out of my strawberries, but that has solidified, and you can see, I'll open one so you can see inside. I brimmed it to the top, but you can see that's solidified nicely, and that's ready for some toast. So I'm looking forward to those, but I'm also looking really forward to this one when that's done. So that is the importance of growing your own things. You can literally make produce out of your own garden. I honestly didn't think I'd see the day. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. If you got anything from this, make sure you like and subscribe down below, and make sure you check back soon for another video in the garden, because we're going to be growing something else and we'll be turning it into something very delicious. Thanks for watching. Speak to you soon. Cheers.